Hello and welcome to A Tribe Called Health. The Tribe convenes weekly for a roundtable discussion on health, fitness, and sustainable living. We're about to get started, but first a disclaimer. The information on this broadcast should not be considered medical or legal advice. If you need medical or legal advice, speak to a doctor or a lawyer. If you are a doctor or a lawyer and need health or fitness advice, get in the tribe. On today's show, we welcome, I'm just going to say it, the legendary Sean Croxton of Underground Wellness. Sean's here to talk about his latest project, the Sexy Back Summit. Get ready, folks. Your gonadotropin-releasing hormone is about to be stimulated. This is A Tribe Called Health. Hey everybody, my name is Joe Rignola of WellnessPunks.com, and with me, as always, John Randalls of SexFoodAndKettlebells.com and Eric Hulse of EricHulse.com. What's up, boys?
Hey, what's going on?
Who's excited?
Me? I am.
Right on. So, Eric.
Yes.
The man doesn't need an introduction, but why don't you introduce him anyway?
Okay. All right. Sean Croxton is the founder of Underground Wellness, host of one of the most downloaded health radio shows on the internet, UW Radio, and the author of the book, The Dark Side of Fat Loss, which is an awesome book, Sean.
Thank you.
His other projects include the Paleo Summit and the Real Food Summit. Sean continues to revolutionize the health and wellness industry, encouraging people to jerk or just eat real food. His latest project is called the Sexy Back Summit, and all about it. Perfect timing as always, John.
Damn, John. John always gets us with that. Welcome to the show, Sean.
Oh, thanks for having me, guys. It's good to be here.
Cool. All right, so
I'm sorry. I just got the giggles right now. I'm sorry.
It's all good. You just had a massage right now, so you're probably really super laid back, right?
And I think I totally fell asleep during my massage. Like I went in there for like deep tissue, and she started, and I was like, no, I don't want this today. I just want like Swedish loving. And so she did an awesome Swedish massage. Now I'm pretty sure I knocked out for a little while until it was time to turn over. But yeah, it was good.
Yeah,
you know what's so awesome is that there's a massage envy in my building, and so I just like go downstairs and get a massage. It's beautiful.
How often? Nice. Do you go like once a month or just whenever you feel like it?
I go at least once a week.
Oh, word? Nice.
Damn.
I'm there all the time. they know me down there now. Like, hey, Sean. I'm like, back again. I'm like, yeah, back again.
Yeah. No, I can't do the deep tissue, man. I go through the roof. I can't handle it. But
I need it. I definitely need it.
I love it. Like, take a baseball bat to my back, and I'm totally fine with that. Like, just do it all up.
That's just some kinky shit right there, man.
Don't be surprised, boy.
So, Sean, I'm not going to make you go through your whole life story because I know you've told it about 8 million times. But basically, you're a personal trainer working on the old calories in, calories out paradigm. Weren't getting really good results with your clients, then you found FDN, sold your TV to take the FDN course. Yes. Then you were able to dig deeper with your clients and start getting results. But what I would love for you to talk about is that transition from being a coach and working one-on-one with clients to being more of an entrepreneur and creating this killer content for people. Like, when did you always know you wanted to make that shift, or is it something that just sort of crept up on you? Or
well, I've always been an entrepreneur at heart. My dad was an entrepreneur. He sold shoes at Macy's, but over the weekends he sold like knockoff Gucci sweatshirts and butterfly knives and Rambo knives and stuff like that at the flea market in Oakland. And I remember seeing the Entrepreneur magazine just laying around the house, just trying to, I was like 8 years old trying to figure out how to say entrepreneur. Like, yo, I'm having a hard time sounding that thing out. But I think that's where my entrepreneurial spirit came from. I used to go to the swap meet myself and sell like comic books and, just whatever I could sell to people. And then in college, believe it or not, and I hope I don't get in trouble for this, I used to sell bootleg Tupac CDs in college. Yeah, so like right after he passed away, maybe a year after he passed away, I found these bootleg CDs on the internet, and I was like, yo, everybody wants these. And so I ordered them up, and I hooked up with a friend who had a CD burner because those were very rare back in the day, and he started burning them, and we made like track lists, and we had like release dates and covers and stuff like that. So I pretty much walked around San Diego State University with a box of bootleg Tupac CDs, and I would sell them, and I did really well. And that was until like Napster came along and kind of crushed my whole thing. I really hope I don't get in trouble for this, but I've always
Sean, about 3 people listen to our show, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Oh, the statute of limitations is up on that one, but yeah, I've always been an entrepreneur, but there was a long period of time where I was working one-on-one with clients. That's something that I may go back to maybe later on this year, but it's one-on-one. But we have the internet now where we can work one on tens of thousands at the same time, and so that's where I like to that's where have shifted my focus to. It's just working with the masses out there, helping them by way of my ebook or by way of the summits that we do. And it's been fun, it's been educational, it's been health giving, it's been lucrative, it's been amazing. I love doing it.
Cool. You guys have any other questions with along those lines? I don't want to take up everyone's time.
I thought he was about to tell us that he sold pot in college. I was like,
never did that one. Oh, no. Never did that one. I bought a little bit, but I never sold it.
Once again, we might want to cut that part out.
No, I'll keep it, man. Let's keep it real.
All right.
That's kind of what happens in college.
Yep.
Sean, what were some of the things that you enjoyed? You spoke about what is something you enjoyed about the internet, getting yourself out on the internet. What are some things you enjoyed about one-on-one consultations and working together with someone?
The connection, the checking in with them every week and seeing their progress move forward over time. That's great. To get somebody whose health is just in dire straits and their diet is just horrendous, and a month later just see how far that they've come, that's huge for me. Also, just kind of like, that moment where it all starts to make sense for them because they've been from doctor to doctor to doctor to doctor and practitioner to practitioner without being able to figure out what's going on with them. And then, we run some very simple labs and boom, we can see all of this stuff on paper and they go, oh my God, now it makes sense. That's a really good feeling to have because I was able to really help these people. And that's one thing that I certainly miss is just that one-on-one personal contact, and that's one of the things that will probably bring me back to one-on-one coaching sometime down the line.
Cool. So let's talk about some of that killer content. The Sexy Back Summit. What was? Let's start with just like a 60,000-foot view of the Sexy Back Summit. What's it all about? How many presenters are there? When is the official launch and all that?
Well, we pre-launch this Friday, in a couple of days from now. We're pre-launching with a series of videos called Sexy Back Sessions, and they're videos that I recorded here in San Diego as well as LA with a handful of my Sexy Back Summit presenters. So the first video is called The Top 5 Ways to Supercharge Your Sex Drive, and there's a video for women and there's a video for men.
Nice.
The one for men is with Reed Davis, who's founder of Functional Diagnostic Nutrition, and the one for women is with Cynthia Pasquala. And then next week we'll be releasing a couple other videos. One's about adrenal health and your sex drive. It's called 2 Tiny Glands That Can Ruin Your Sex Life Big Time with Krista Arecchio, who's one of my favorite people in the world. And then we have the how to burn fat and get your bedroom body, about how to burn fat, of course, but also, your confidence in the bedroom has a lot to do with your physical appearance. And so Jay Tita happened to be in town the day we were filming these, and so he came by the studio and we recorded with him. So very grateful for that. So we're just going to kind of drip some really informational stuff before we get to the official launch date, which is Sunday, May 19th. And we've got 24 different presenters over a 6-day period. So that's 4 per day for 6 days, and the 7th day is going to be the encore day, and the attendees will be able to vote for their favorite presentation, and those will be the ones that we have on encore day. And I mean, let me actually pull up the schedule and kind of throw out a few people.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Sarah Godfrey is talking about 50 Shades of Better Sex, Secrets of a Harvard Gynecologist. Elisa Vidi's got one of my favorite presentations called How to Cross-Train Your Menstrual Cycle for a Better Sex Life. This is just day 1. We've got Adam Gilad, who's a dating coach, embracing and communicating your sexuality with integrity and without shame. Not only one of my favorite presentations right there, but also my assistant's favorite presentation as well. Adam Gilad is probably someone who the health audience doesn't really know much about, but I think they're truly going to get a lot out of his presentation. Also on day 1, we've got Brett Klicka, personal trainer who's been on my fitness videos many, many times. Also the author of the Underground Workout Manual, which is the companion to The Dark Side of Fat Loss. His is called Exercise and Sex, the Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. We've got Eric's brother, Elliot Hulse, participating, Paul Check, Yuri Elkane, Cynthia Pasquella, Katie Bowman's talking about the pelvis, really cool stuff. Stephanie Rupert, Jay Tita, Dr. Dan Kalish, Dave Asprey. I mean, it's pretty loaded. Chris Kresser. I mean, we can go on and on and on. And it was really rad to record with these folks. What was that, Eric?
I have an important question.
What's up?
Now, is Justin Timberlake involved in this in any way? That's what I want to know. Like, that's important.
No, there's no Justin Timberlake, even though my buddy Alex was like, yo, man, you got to get Justin Timberlake to do like an interview or something like that to launch it. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to pay for that, first of all. And second of all, that's just kind of random. You know what I mean? Like what would Justin Timberlake have to do with a health conference about sex?
Well, his music will boost your sex drive.
Although I don't know, I heard that JT went vegan, so he may be suffering in that department himself right now.
Oh, not a good move. Not a good move, JT.
Yeah, right.
So what?
Go ahead, Eric.
You want to go ahead?
No, go for it.
What made you want to start this and just and get it rolling? Like, when did that light bulb go off? Like, okay, this is something that I need to put together. This is something that people need to know about. What was that process like?
Eric, you've got the coolest shirt in the history of the world.
Yeah.
That's rad. What was that again?
I just want to let the audience know that I went to go order one, but they were all sold out, so I made my own.
Yeah, that's badass. I like that. Well, how did it all come to be? I had Dr. Sarah Gottfried on my show in early January, I believe it was, and we talked a lot about women's health and hormones and things of that sort. And it was a surprisingly, incredibly popular show. And women's health is just something that we hadn't really covered on the radio show in the last 5 years, right, since the show started. And so I didn't know that my audience had such a demand for that type of content. And so I had went to JJ Virgin's Mastermind in late January. And Dr. Godfrey was there, this a couple of weeks after her appearance, and we talked, and then I'm sitting there next to Dr. Tom O'Brien, and I'm looking over there, and I'm going, there's Dr. Sarah Gottfried, and there's Dr. Jen Landa, and there's Dr. Annika Becca, and there's Elisa Vidi. There's all these OBGYNs over there who pretty much, what they do is help women get their sex drive back and whatnot. And I'm thinking, because at the time, I was actually going to do another Real Food Summit. That was the plan. And I'm going, wait, there's something to this. So I sat and thought about it, and I was like, I got to do a summit about sex, because sex is one of those things that everybody is interested in. You don't have to eat real food, and you don't have to be paleo to have an interest in sex. Everybody wants to have better sex. So I was like, yo, let's put together this summit. And then I finally came up with the Sexy Back Summit, and I bought it on GoDaddy while I was sitting there, and gosh, immediately got started with it. Like literally a few days later, was sending out invitations and people were accepting. And a couple weeks later, started actually recording the calls. And now here we are, a little over 3 months later, ready to launch.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's all about having an idea. It's an idea, man.
And about 8,000 domain names, right?
Pretty much.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the. I was listening to that interview with Sarah Gottfried, again today just to get some ideas for this show. And you had let everyone know that you were at an airport and you picked up the book 50 Shades of Grey.
Where's it at?
and read it.
I can't find it.
So I haven't read it. I don't know if you guys have read it.
Nope.
But what good tidbits did you get from that book?
I haven't read all of 50 Shades. I probably read the first 75 pages or so, and then I had to put it down because I had to read something for the radio show, which is typically the case. But the reason why I bought it, though, and as I said in the show that I had with Dr. Sarah, I'm sitting on the plane, right? And I got the middle seat because I, checked in too late on Southwest. So I'm in the middle seat, and the guy next to me goes, "Bro, are you serious?" Because he's looking at the book, and I'm like, "Yeah." I was like, "Hey, every woman in the country is reading this book. There's a reason for it because there's something that their men aren't doing that they really want." And he was like, "Oh, that makes sense." You know what I mean? And that's real. I mean, whatever women are like all over, men want to be privy to just to kind of see what's going on. And so I didn't get deep into the book. Like I said, maybe about 75 pages. So I didn't really get into the heart of it. And I've kind of heard what happens later on in the book. But, women want non-vanilla sex. You know what I'm saying? And that's something that Dr. Godfrey talks about in her Sexy Back presentation is like, it's not that what was her quote? It's not that we don't want to have sex, but it's the sex that's on the menu. That's the problem. Because we're just not being creative with our lovemaking, guys. You know what I'm saying? We're just, I don't know, we're not thinking about our women. We're not keeping things fresh. We're not communicating well, on and on and on. We think that foreplay is something that happens in the minutes before sex. No, foreplay is always happening. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Opening up the door, doing sweet things for your girl. I mean, we don't care about that stuff unless we want to get some sex. So foreplay is always happening, and that's something that we really need to recognize. And she talks about that in her. You know what's crazy? I feel like I understand women so much more after doing this. It was brought into my life for a reason, this whole Sexy Back Summit, because, man, my understanding of women and my appreciation for women has gone through the roof. It's really, really cool, and girls think it's really sexy too.
What's the number one thing you think you learned? Like, if taking away it now, let's say that you're going into your personal life now. What are you taking with you?
The importance of vulnerability in your relationship. And when I say vulnerability, most men think that's some wussy type of stuff. We didn't talk about being vulnerable, but men always have to be so macho. We have to be so closed off. We think that the way to getting sex is through courtship, overt courtship, going out and going to the movies or taking your girl out to eat and things of that sort. But I think our women want to know that we're human beings and that we recognize that we're all in this together. And so being vulnerable, showing the sides of us that aren't that macho is really what excites women and builds that trust with them. So, so you can be that close to have good, passionate sex. You know what I'm saying? And so that presentation is by Matthew Sanders, who was actually my therapist. Last year I had the craziest relationship, like for about a 2-year period with someone I won't mention. And it was nuts. And due to that relationship, I started going to a therapist, and he really helped me with my communication and all this stuff. And so I asked him to be a part of this summit, and he crushed it. He's probably the only guy on the entire schedule that people won't know anything about, but it's definitely the presentation that you want to watch. It's called What's So Sexy About Vulnerability? And it is badass, especially the part about the t-shirt study. And I won't give it away completely, but basically when women are on the pill and they choose a lover, when they go off the pill, their lover that they chose, they're really no longer attracted to, and there's a big reason for that.
Wow.
So,
Whoa.
check that out.
No. Sean, hear me out.
So,
That's a big problem. You see, I'm engaged, and Barbara and we are currently talking about taking her off the pill. Are you telling me that my life is over?
no, your life isn't over at all, man. It's a trip, though. I mean, if you check out this thing, I'm not saying this happens to all women in all relationships, and at all. It's just a study, and I can kind of give you a brief synopsis of the study. I'm probably going to completely blow this, but it's all good.
You don't have to. Wait,
You don't want to know?
No, we're gonna watch it.
Okay. You can watch it, and I'm actually going to be talking about this a little bit with Elisa Vitti, who's going to be my guest on the radio show tomorrow, and so yeah, it's pretty darn fascinating. Basically, who the woman thinks smells like her lover, it has to do with smell. Who the woman thinks her smells like her lover when she goes off the pill starts to smell like her brother.
Oh,
What?
Hey, it's a good thing Barbara is an only child. She will have no idea what that feels like. No idea.
That is funny.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So is it just it has to do with the change in hormones coming off the pill, or?
It's something called multiple histamine complex. It's is it a gene or something like that? Like I said, I was totally gonna botch this, but
Yeah, no.
women can smell that on men. They could smell it on these T-shirts that guys had to wear, and so they had to choose who had the opposite multiple histamine complex of them. And I should back up. The T-shirt that they chose for the best smelling individual was the person who had the opposite multiple histamine complex. And multiple histamine complex is it helps to fight off disease. So it's pretty much an indication of health. And so the women who were on the pill typically chose the T-shirt that had the most similar multiple histamine complex to themselves. And so when they go off the pill, though, they choose the opposite. So the T-shirt of the guy who had the histamine complex more like themselves didn't smell good anymore. It ended up smelling more like her brother because they share the same genes. So it was really, really fascinating, and I highly recommend y'all check that out.
So John, my wife is an only child too, so I think you're safe.
Poor John. This is gonna bug the hell out of John for a while. Sorry.
He's gonna be throwing T-shirts at Barbara all night.
Yo, ask the deodorant, man.
Switch it up.
Which was the history.
That's funny.
Oh,
All right.
Well, Austin will never be on the pill, so it's not anything we need to worry about.
No, you don't have to worry about that. That's
Not gonna happen. Ron, I had a question about. I know that it's the whole summit is geared towards men and women, correct?
Yes.
Now, just by the things that you're saying and some of the presentations that might be coming up, is it? And tell me if I'm wrong here. Is it more along the lines of how we need to start treating women with, I guess, handling their sexual desires more? So it's like teaching men how to do that, or is it equally both? How we can heal our bodies so our sex hormones are more active and things like that.
Yeah, that's a very good question. I wanted to cover as many bases as I could. I didn't want to leave anything out with this summit, and that's one of the reasons why we have 24 different presentations. We have several that are for women only, like Cynthia Pasquale's presentations called Chasing the Big O, Overcoming the Inability to Orgasm. Most men aren't dealing with that issue, so it's mostly about women. We have another one about low T, symptoms, causes, and solutions, natural solutions with Reed Davis. So that's primarily for men. But there's just a handful that are just for men and women only. The rest are pretty much unisex. And not only is it a summit that's covering natural solutions for sex-related health conditions, but I did want to throw in some of that communication stuff because I think that's so darn important. And that's where Adam Gilad, as well as Matt Sanders came in. And going back to some of those health conditions that I'm talking about, those sex-related health conditions, I mean, I'm talking about infertility. I'm talking about PMS. I'm talking about overcoming frequent UTIs and yeast infections and what's that other thing I can't remember right now? PCOS as well we talk about. And so we also talk about erectile dysfunction. Kim Schuette's got a fantastic presentation called Let Them Eat Fat, the big fat truth about low libido, low T, and erectile dysfunction. And so, like I said, I did want to try to cover as many bases as I can, and so people out there who have, a myriad of different health conditions can go, oh my God, this is exactly what I need. I've been treating my XYZ condition with such and such medication, but I haven't been getting to the root cause. So it's going to help people find the root cause and also look for those natural solutions, or give them those natural solutions that they can use in order to stamp out whatever they've got and regain their sexy and kind of go on and move on with their life forever. Because you don't really get this information from your medical doctor. And most people are afraid to talk about it, period. So now we've got a way for people to get the information from the comfort of their own home. You know what I'm saying? I think that's so key for a lot of people because they don't want to talk about this stuff.
Which
hopefully this will. Go ahead, John. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say that kind of just brought me a little question I wanted to ask. That would you say this particular summit is more in particular value to people who are really interested in this subject, or do you think that everybody can really get a lot from this and everybody should be watching it?
Everybody should be watching this. Everybody can relate to at least one presentation in this summit. If you can't, you are simply not a human being. And so, yeah, I think everybody needs to attend. And I'm not just saying it because it's my event and all that stuff, and for ego's sake. I literally think that everybody can get something out of this. You might be, planning on having a baby sometime in the future. You can check out the fertility, presentation. You may not feel like you're just quite the man that you used to be. You might want to check out the testosterone presentation by Reed Davis. You might just not have your libido. We have several presentations about libido with Dr. Dan Kalish and Chris Kresser and Dr. Jen Landa. You may have some vaginal problems going on down there. I mean, most women at some point have some problems, whether it be odor or infections and whatnot. I mean, we've got Anna Kabecka who talks about rejuvenate your vagina, how to get vajuicy. You know what I mean? And so there's something there for everybody, and it's all really good stuff. Vajuicy, baby.
Vajuicy? Did you come up with that name, Sean?
No, Dr. Kabecka came up with that. I loved it. I was like, ooh, Vajuicy. I like that.
Coming from the blog Sex, Food, and Kettlebells, let me tell you, we're going to be all over this Sex Pack Summit. Which reminds me, we need our affiliate link as well.
Yeah, jump on that, please. Thank you for promoting.
Right on. So speaking of, you mentioned the one presentation, Let Them Eat Fat, and medications. So did anyone cover things like how statins could put your libido in the toilet, so to speak? Was that covered at all, and how things like statins or antidepressants or different medications can affect your libido?
Yeah, the statins one is going to be in Kim Schuette's presentation. I want to say that's day 4. That's the Let Them Eat Fat one. She is a practitioner out here in the San Diego area who has found that when men come to her and they have erectile dysfunction and other problems, introducing traditional healthy fats, saturated fats into their diets has really helped them tremendously to regain that. And one of the reasons why they're getting erectile dysfunction in the first place is the fact that they're on statin drugs. And, they've been told to consume a low-fat diet. Well, if you're not eating fat and cholesterol, you're not giving your body what it needs to make the hormones in order to get an erection and to have a sex drive. And so she covers that. Antidepressants, oh my gosh, I want to say Jen Landa covers that in her libido talk, and I want to say she talks about how women being, actually, you know what? I got a really cool. This book is right in front of me. I got Lisa Vitti on the show tomorrow, and I just read this. I was finishing up her book this morning. The Pill in Your Libido. This is actually not antidepressants. This is actually birth control pills we were talking about earlier. One common side effect of the birth control pill is that it can dampen your libido. A 2006 study published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that birth control pills significantly decrease circulating levels of testosterone. In my experience, women who are hormonally sensitive are more likely to experience this effect because they already have other libido draining factors at play, on and on and on. And so with a lot of, I know we're getting off the antidepressant topic, but we'll come back to it. A lot of people have libido issues, due to the fact that they're on the birth control pill. So they're on a birth control pill, so they won't have babies, but unfortunately, that birth control pill reduces their sex drive at the same time. And so it's really, really interesting. And
kind
to
of
go
ironic,
along
isn't
with that, and I want to make sure I really drive this point home, I'll make sure that the women know about this as well as the men, is we do have a presentation by Jane Bennett, who's the author of The Pill, Are You Sure It's For You? And her presentation is called Natural Birth Control Alternatives. One of my absolute favorites of the entire summit. I mean, it's seriously badass. And one of the reasons why I love it is because she talks about this little tiny window, little itty bitty tiny window during the month when you're actually fertile. It's like hours. I don't want to say it's like 12 hours. But then, you know, if there's semen in the vagina, it can hang out there for a couple of days. So people are on the pill for a whole month for something that can only happen within like 2 or 3 days of that month. And you have to consider all the different side effects that people are getting from that pill, you know, whether it be mood issues, increased risk of cancer, reduction of libido, on and on and on. We're doing that for the sake of literally 2 or 3 days, actually 12 hours in the month that you're actually fertile. And so she talks about fertility awareness method, which is a way of charting your body symptoms. And what I mean by that is your body temperature as well as your cervical mucus to find out exactly when during the month that you're fertile. And so that way you'll know when to, you know, use a condom and actually take the appropriate measures to not get pregnant and be able to stay completely off the pill. It's just like we teach our clients, you have to listen to your body and figure out what works right for you. And so that's what she's encouraging women to do, is take, you know, 2 or 3 months to really learn your body and find out when you're ovulating and when you're fertile. And that one's going to seriously blow a lot of people's minds right there. And she talks about a couple studies. I know I've gotten way far away from your question.
No, it's all good.
But she talks about a couple studies as well that show that fertility awareness method, and remember, this requires no pills or anything like that at all, is far more effective than taking the pill itself. And so it's all about learning your body. So don't miss that. That's like day 2 of the summit. And don't forget also, I feel like I'm Don King today. And don't forget, we did this with the Real Food Summit, that, excuse me, getting over a little sinus infection, that every night, Monday through Friday of the summit, we're going to have Q&A sessions live on Blog Talk Radio. So you can watch the presentations, and then the day after you can call in and actually speak with the presenters and ask them your questions. So don't forget about that.
That's awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
What
it is.
So,
I had a question about, I know a lot of our followers, they're interested in the nutrition aspect of health. How does that play into some presentations during the summit?
I want to say that most of them mention diet in some form or fashion. Krista Orecchio significantly goes over the Candida diet. Cynthia Pasquella goes over her orgasmic tips for healthy eating. Yuri Elkame talks about superfoods for super sex. That's his entire presentation. Paul Chek, in his presentation, talks about food as well. You know, Paul's always going to talk about food. Dr. Sarah Gottfried covers food as well. I mean, I want to say maybe half of the presentations actually get into food. And it's mostly eat real food. You know, eat real food, eat real fats, eat good healthy protein, things of that sort. Yeah.
Cool. Was there anything that surprised you? Did you learn anything like that totally shocked you during the presentation?
Katie Bowman's presentation on the pelvis. We got into talking about Kegels, and she said that Kegels are absolutely contraindicated in the scientific literature, that you should not be doing Kegels. And a lot of women are going to kind of be like, what? I've been told to do Kegels by everybody, by every magazine and whatnot. And so I think that was the thing where I was like, whoa, I didn't know that. But then at the same time, you know, Dr. Anna Kabeka said that Kegels are the best thing to do in the world. And so, you know, that's the beauty of what we do, is there's so many different opinions. You got to figure out, you know, through your own research, you know, what makes the most sense to you.
Interesting.
I'm actually teeming with excitement right now. Like, you got me like amped for this. You know,
it's gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome.
Yeah,
Awesome, John.
Awesome. So give us a few takeaway points. You know, let's start with the women portion of the program. Give us a few takeaway points that women will have, and then that the guys will be able to take away from the program.
For women, some takeaway points for women. Gosh, that's a really tough question. For women, hang on, let me look at the schedule a little bit more, because there's so many different things here. Gosh, for women, I can just say in general, you know what I found really cool was Dr. Jade Tita's presentation on female phase training. So basically exercising with your menstrual cycle. And I can't remember it right off the top of my head. Again, it's been like several weeks since I went through these presentations and wrote all the slides for them. I got to do a lot of that next week, review next week. But he talked about how there's 2 phases of your cycle. And then during one phase, when such and such hormones are high and other hormones are low, that's your best time to be in the gym hitting the weights, because your body's going to be able to put on the most muscle then. And then there's another phase, the second phase I want to say, or I could have these completely mixed up, is when you want to work more on endurance type of cardio, like long-term cardio. And so I think that would be a great takeaway for women to kind of dial in their exercise routine, is that they can kind of cross-train their exercise routine to fit their menstrual cycle. And so I think that's going to be really cool. Oh, snap! Okay, it just hit me. I knew it was going to hit me. My brain was on the way.
Whoa.
Here it is right here. I'm all excited. I'm like, damn, they're sweating. But you know what it is? It's my big, thick, check these out. My mom always gets me like cool stuff for Christmas. So these are my Christmas story
what is
that I'm rocking right here. It says, "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." And they're super thick, and so I'm like sweating bullets. But the presentation, I'm freaking nut. It's the presentation that I wish that I would have heard 5 years ago, because it would have saved so many relationships. And men, do not miss this one. Is Elisa Vitti's how to cross-train your menstrual cycle for a better sex life, because she talks about, check this out, because I thought these girls were just crazy, right? She talks about how when women, the different weeks or the different phases of a woman's cycle, of which there's 4, right? Women's moods change. Women's need for foreplay, women's libidos change, their sex drives change, on and on. Just how they kind of become not even so subtly different during the month. I mean, I had a girlfriend who the week before her period turned into the freaking devil. She was a completely different person. I knew it was menstrual related, but she was just so up and down, just wild. And that presentation and the information I got from Elisa was just like, whoa, now I get it. They just can't help it. This is just the way that women are wired. And it's not like I'm going to be able to find one who's not wired like this. This is just how they are due to hormones. And so I think that presentation will certainly save a lot of relationships in the future. That's a good one right there.
So hold on a second now, because some women say they don't suffer from PMS symptoms at all. So is it normal? Is it not normal? Or is there truth somewhere in the middle?
And that's a really good question based on what I just said. And this particular person who I'm talking about, who I was in a relationship with, she had some PMS, which wasn't normal. It's probably some hormonal issues going on. Mm-hmm. But just women in their regular state, their hormonally balanced state, are still going to have these fluctuations in their energy, in their libido, when they want sex, how they want sex, as well as their mood. And it's really cool when you can actually understand her cycle and understand how she's going to be certain weeks of the month, and how you can adjust not only your interactions with her, and also giving her alone time, and also during the at the right time being very close to her, letting her get her things done, things of that sort. Yeah, I think that's really going to be helpful for men to relate to their women more, to be more understanding of their women as well, because that's what a lot of women are looking for, is just understanding. Like, just understand my struggle, understand what I go through. You know what I'm saying? And so that's going to be huge. That's day one. Don't miss that one.
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
John,
go ahead, John.
I'm picturing one of your ex-girlfriends from like 5 years ago, who still listens to your podcast, and maybe she's like, that bastard's talking about me and my
She won't have nothing to do with me. I'm sure she's not listening right now.
Sounds very useful. I think everyone will take something away from that. Me as well. Me in particular. I think that'll be really useful. I hope I don't get a smack for saying that later.
No,
that's great.
Your woman wants you to understand what she's going through. That's huge, and have that compassion and just understand, like, yo, this is some hormonal stuff that's completely natural. That's just the way she works. That's how women work.
So quick takeaway from that. So do we back off that time of the month, or do we hug them? Do we, how do give us some like real tangible tips for us guys that, we can walk away and say, it's going to help us immediately.
I'm so mad right now because you know what? I can't remember for the sake of my life. I can't remember. I remember being in the moment. Like I said, this whole next week I'm going to be like sitting down and re-listening to these because, when I'm recording them, I'm like writing notes and stuff like that, and I'm not, just kind of like how I'm going to write these slides. And then when I'm writing the slides, I'm writing them for the sake of writing the slides. But now I need to actually sit there and just fully listen to them and be present. And so that's what I plan on doing over this next week, so I can actually write out the emails and all the descriptions and all that fun stuff. Great stuff. We'll be talking a little bit about it next week with Elisa Vitti. What I can tell you, or tomorrow with Elisa Vitti on the show, but what I can tell you is that when a woman ovulates, that's when she's ready to rock. That's when the man gets the green light. Somewhere between day 10.
That's like 12. That's that 12-hour window.
That's not the 12-hour window. The 12-hour window is in there, but day 10, I want to say through 17, I want to say something like around those times is when the progesterone's high, the estrogen's high, and the testosterone. There's a surge in testosterone, and so that's when the guy really has the green light to get his groove on. Probably with a minimum of a foreplay. However, as she does get closer to her period, right before her period and right after her period, those are going to be times where you really got to work up the foreplay, because the estrogen's very low, the progesterone's coming down as well, and there's just not that surge in testosterone. And so, if your woman is kind of taking a little while to actually, get lubricated down there, it's not really about you. It's just the change in what she needs at that particular time of the month, as according to her menstrual cycle. Yeah. So maybe I do remember a little bit more than I thought I remembered. It's coming back to me now.
It sounds like women are going to learn a lot about themselves with this summit too.
Yes, and what they will mostly learn is that they can fix this. Your UTIs and your yeast infections don't always have to come back. Your PMS is not something that you're going to be stuck with for the rest of your life. There are ways that you can heal from this and just kind of move on and not have to deal with it ever. Because, UTIs and yeast infections and PMS, those are things that are going to interfere with a woman's sex life and her relationship with her man. And low libido is going to interfere with your relationship with your man, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying? And so people are going to have much happier relationships in general because of the information that they get here, because there's less obstacles to better sex. Yeah.
Sean, I don't know. Now we're on the subject of PMS. Now I don't know if this is a myth or not, but in your summit presentations, did anybody mention like a guy's time of the month? Because there's always like that joke that guys and girls like they'll both get moody. Say it again.
Sympathy PMS.
Yeah, something along those lines. Or maybe it's a time when a guy's hormones will, fluctuate through a monthly cycle. Is that something that was touched on, or is that a myth, or does that have any truth behind it?
That, I'm not sure if there's any truth behind it. It's something that just did not come up during any of the presentations.
Well, I've been married for 14 years. Actually, tomorrow.
For real? You're old enough to be married 14 years? Get out of here.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well, thank you for that compliment.
Congratulations.
I'm going to take that. So happy anniversary to my lovely wife, Marissa, tomorrow.
Hey,
and, I do notice, speaking on that, there are times that I feel like I'm on the same damn cycle as she is. Well, I just kind of feel like kind of bummed at certain times of the month. And it's like, are you about to have, but, it's probably just being married for that long, and
Yeah, you guys, you're in rhythm together. I mean, that's probably a really good sign. Yeah.
I want to say somehow I got myself in a chat room with a bunch of dudes talking about their periods, man. What is this?
You've been in weirder chat rooms than this, John. Don't act.
No comment.
Sean's like, what the hell did I get myself into here?
I love this, man. I got to do this Google Hangout thing more often. This is really fun.
Yeah, this is pretty cool. We have fun. We have fun with this. So, can you think of maybe one or two things that absolutely kill libido? Specific things that absolutely kill libido for men and women.
Poor diet.
Yeah.
I mean, poor diet, of course, is number one. I mean, your libido is very much hormone driven. So if you're not getting the basic building blocks for your hormones, you're going to have a poor libido. Stress is huge. Mental, emotional stress, of course, but we also have to consider digestive health. 60% of the population, at least, has one or more symptoms of digestive dysfunction. And that digestive dysfunction is a major stress in your body. First of all, it's limiting the amount of nutrients that your body's getting, so you're not really getting the bricks that are going to make your hormones. But also, it has quite an impact on the function of your adrenal glands. And your adrenal glands are consistently pumping out these stress hormones, you know, to help you deal with your digestive disorders and your toxicity and your mental and emotional stress as well. And it's doing that at the expense of your sex hormones. So cortisol comes up, and then your DHEA and your testosterone starts to go down. And of course, that's not what we want. And so those are a few things that people really need to nip in the bud. I think one thing that people are really going to walk away with, you know, when I was stumped by your question, it's just maybe one or two slides on Dr. Kalish's presentation on how to get your mojo back. And he covers like the spiritual and the physical and the mental, emotional aspects of libido. And he talks about relationships, and he recommended a book that I read that one girlfriend had me read a couple years ago called The 5 Love Languages. And it's a book that I think that anybody who's in a relationship should certainly read, because we speak different languages. I mean, we like different things. And I believe that the 5 love languages are acts of service, words of praise, gifts, quality time, and something else. I can't remember. It's not going to come to me. But we prefer things like, I like acts of service. Like when a woman cooks for me, that's hot. That's like the hottest thing in the world. But maybe for one of you guys, cooking and acts of service isn't really all that important. Maybe encouragement is important to you. And so sometimes we think that our love language is the same as our woman's love language. We think that the way that we receive love is the same way she's going to receive love, but typically that's not the case. For her, she may be somebody who needs quality time. You know, for her, she may be somebody who needs lots of encouragement and whatnot. And so I think that those 2 or 3 slides are going to hit home with a lot of people, and it'll make a lot of people go out and buy the book, The 5 Love Languages.
Nice. Very cool. So, this has been such an outstanding show. Holy cow!
Yeah.
Definitely. So, all right. So you're doing like a soft launch this Friday, and the official launch is the 19th. You said?
Yeah, we're building up anticipation starting on Friday.
Nice.
10 days of anticipation, and then boom, it's summit time. And so it's time for me to be really stressed out. For me to get no sleep for like a week. And you know what? And on top of the summit, I forgot to mention this. There's the pre-launch period. There's the actual event. Then the week, like, it doesn't stop when the event's over. We actually have an entire week of webinars. And so we've got 9 webinars scheduled the week after the summit, so the attendees can come and actually learn more from our presenters. And so that's something that we haven't done yet. So I'm really excited about that. Yeah.
So that's in addition to the Q&A sessions that you're even doing on.
Yes. It's going to be nuts. Like I think the first day of the webinars, we have Reed Davis presenting at 2 o'clock Pacific, and then we have Dr. Sarah Gottfried at 5. And so for the rest of the week, it's 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock, and then on the Friday, it's at noon with Yuri. So 9 webinars for you guys to attend. So we're overloading you guys with lots of information. And you know, if people are interested in purchasing the actual summit package, it's got the actually let me back up and tell you guys how it works.
Yeah.
Just like the other summits, we got 24-hour free viewing period. So we start on Sunday at 9 a.m. We usually do it at midnight, but I'm not trying to stay up all night this year. 9 a.m. Pacific time until 8:59 a.m. the next day is your free viewing period. You can watch whatever you want and do whatever you want to do, and then we take them down. We put up the next day's set, and we do that through the entirety of the summit. If people want to purchase the summit files or all the summit presentations, you can buy the audio files along with the video files, along with the transcripts, along with these really cool action sheets that we had made, along with bonuses as well for a really special event week only price. And it's really cool. We have like it's all digital downloads. So we have this really cool customer hub, and we'll send you a membership, like login information. You can go in there and you can find all of your content in there, so you can download it however you want to. Not only will the Sexy Back Summit be in there, but the Real Food Summit and the Paleo Summit and the Dark Side of Fat Loss. All of my stuff is going to be in the customer hub, so it'll be really.
So you're throwing all of that stuff in as a bonus?
That's not going to be a bonus. No, those are actually what we call upserves. And so if when you purchase the Sexy Back Summit, we're actually going to offer you my other products, Real Food Summit and Paleo Summit and the Dark Side of Fat Loss at some really, really super duper discounted one-time only prices. And so people will be able to have access to those in their customer hub that they'll be able to log into and be able to download stuff directly from there.
Awesome.
It's pretty cool.
Man, that's a ton of stuff, man. Yeah, I'm pretty psyched too. This is going to be awesome.
It's on. People, please attend. Please attend. Because
there's no reason not to. I mean,
this thing costs me a lot of money. Please attend.
Sounds like it costs you a lot of time and energy too.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. It was 3 months. It was there's about 7 contractors working with me. I have a whole team. Man, was this thing expensive. So please attend. Please buy.
You're gonna be responsible for like a baby boom in like 9 months.
I'm gonna be getting all kind of emails. 9 months from now, I'm gonna be getting all kind of emails about little babies named Sean.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? I'm really excited.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. All right, so once again, it's going to be free to watch for the 24-hour period. And what do you have, 4 presentations each day?
Yes.
Awesome content. And then the webinars and the Q&A sessions and the bonuses and the transcripts and the audio. It's what a package. It's awesome. So, and what people are going to be able to go to what? sexybacksummit.com to learn more about that?
For you, sexypunksummit.com.
Right.
Sexypunksummit.com.
On my back there, man. Right on. I gotta go remember to get that domain name before someone else steals it now. Add it to my list. Cool. Do you guys have any other questions for Sean before we let him go?
John, this one is just a little one that's off topic. You're mentioning that it's really stressful now these last 3 months and the last few weeks and coming up. What are some of your go-to like de-stressors, like besides the massage and stuff like that?
Like I said, my massage every week. I love playing basketball. So I get up at 6 o'clock, 6:30, and I go straight to the gym and I shoot hoops for like an hour, hour and a half, and then I lift weights with my buddies afterward. And so it's just a lot of fun for me. It reminds me of kind of like when I was a kid, because when I was a kid, I just played basketball like literally every day, and then I went like 15 years without playing. And now I'm getting back into it, and I'm getting pretty good at it. And so that's one way to reduce my stress. And also the social time of hanging out with my buddies in the morning and just kind of, shooting the whatever with them, for an hour and just kind of keeping caught up with them is really cool. And also, I live in downtown San Diego, and so I can always just kind of walk outside and, go to a bar and have a gluten-free beer and, and stuff like that. And, one thing that's really helped me this year is getting over my issue with flying. Because I still have a little bit of an issue with flying, when turbulence hit, I get a little crazy, but there's nothing I can really do about it. So I've been out of town pretty much every week, every weekend, whether it be San Francisco or LA or New York or Austin or Sacramento or wherever. And so just having that variety in my life, just that, switching it up a little bit every week has been really, really good for me. So that's what I've been doing. So my stress, for the most part, during this whole Sexy Back process has been rather low to moderate, because we gave ourselves 3 months 3 months to get it done. And my team has done this. This is their third time doing it. Actually, their fourth time doing it because they did the Healthy Mouth Summit for Will and Susan for Oral Wellness. So it's their fourth time doing this. So they know what to do. And, you know, now it's just a matter of, hey, every single time you launch, something's going to break. And so it's just all about, you know, me being there to troubleshoot and to deal with the customer service. Not deal with the customer service, but, you know, do the customer service. So I kind of like to do that myself. And, yeah, that's it.
Cool. Awesome. Well, Sean, man, thanks so much for hanging out with us and giving us the scoop on your Sexy Back Summit.
Wait.
What?
Before I go, Elliot Hulse's presentation is the bomb, y'all. It is the bomb. Seriously, it will blow your mind. I've actually cheated a little bit and sent that presentation to a few people, and they've been like, yo, that was off the chain. Y'all got to watch Elliot Hulse's, I'm just going to say the real name of it is Breathe Into Your Balls.
Yeah.
You have to. We gave it kind of like a, you know, another name, like how to increase your sexual energy through deep breathing or something like that. But the real name is Breathe Into Your Balls, and everybody's going to love it. You're going to learn a lot about yourself, and it's actually one of the big reasons why I started to get massage, because of these muscular holding patterns that I have.
Oh,
you know,
the
probably because.
Yeah,
probably because, you know, my mom and dad tried to potty train me before they were supposed to potty train me. You know what I'm saying? Like things like that, going back to my infant development. But check out Elliot Hulse. I want to say it's like day 3 or 4. Mind blower. You'll listen to it like 2 or 3 times, and you'll take notes. It's badass. I'm done.
Awesome.
Word up.
Could not be more excited. All right. Otherwise, people can find you at, of course, undergroundwellness.com and facebook.com/The Underground Wellness Show.
/Underground Wellness.
Yeah. Where else?
YouTube.com/Underground Wellness, blogtalkradio.com/Underground Wellness, Twitter.com/UG Wellness, on Instagram at Sean Croxton, and we're on iTunes as well. Search Underground Wellness, and we're on Stitcher. Search Underground Wellness, and I think that's it.
Pinterest? You got Pinterest going?
No Pinterest yet. I don't have time for Pinterest. I can't do it. Not yet.
Yeah, I can't get into it either. I can't wrap my head around it. All right, excellent. Well, thanks again, Sean, and we just can't wait for the summit, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Sean.
Right on.
Peace out.
So long.